Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another Monday Mindset. The first Monday of the year, 2025 is here. Hope you guys are ready to crush it. It is really coming down, snow outside here in Philadelphia. I don't know if it's snowing where you're at. Hopefully you're in a lot warmer weather than me. Want to talk about 2025, the focus for 2025, kicking off the year right. Actually would love to hear from each of you. What is it that you want to learn more about in 2025, specifically around marketing or sales tactics? Because I've been thinking about the content here in Insurance Syndicate, the community, love Joe, Tony, everything that is going on here in this community, all of you. Love meeting you sometimes out on the road at these conferences, but want to make sure I hone in and focus in on things that are really applicable and can help you in your business, whether it's email marketing, social marketing, print marketing, maybe it's sales tactics. For those who don't know, I have a pretty big call center of 100 plus people that are on the phones all day long making phone calls. We kind of have a custom system. We built a CRM from the ground up. So that made us build a dialer and a phone system and all this stuff. But I can talk about tactics to building a sales team. So I want to hear about that from you of hey, what do you want the focus of Monday Mindset to be for 2025? Because I want to bring mindset, but also want to bring applicable tools and tips that you could take action on. I have a quote for you today as we kick off because I'm going to talk about goal setting a little bit. My quote is from Vince Lombardi. I hope you guys are waking up early. Just because if you wake up 5 o'clock every single day and you do that 365 days a year, and your competitor doesn't wake up at 5 o'clock, they wake up at 7, 8 o'clock, you're going to gain literally 30 days worth of time on them over the course of a year of doing it. So doing it one time doesn't really help you. Doing it consistently over and over again for 365 days a year, getting up early, you just get more time. And if you use that time intentionally, it can really help you. So this was a quote I read at our 5 a.m. club this morning. It says, "Perfection is not attainable. But if we chase perfection, when we can catch excellence." So perfection is not obtainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. That is a Vince Lombardi quote. So that is my goal, is I want to chase perfection in hopes that we as a team at Reminder Media can be excellent in what we do. And to be excellent in what you do, you have to be intentional. You have to be prepared. And being prepared means you have to plan, which means you have to set goals. You have to know where you're going. Have you set your goals? And I think about my goals in terms of I call it the 6 F's in essence of I want to be a 6-dimensional person. It started off as a 4-dimensional person, then a 5-dimensional person. Now I'm up to the 6 F's in my life of going, hey, how do I fulfill goals in all these areas? What are those? It's my faith, my family, my friendships, my fitness, my finance, and then my fun. Fun is for my hobbies. So those are my 6 F's that I'm going, okay, in every area here for, my faith and my family, and my friendships and my fitness and my finance, which is really involves my career and my money and all that I'm doing here. And then my fun, which also is my career because I love what I do at Reminder Media. But my hobbies like music. What are my personal goals that I'm trying to do in each of those? And then through that kind of framework of the 6 F's, then I break down, okay, well, I want to use the SMART framework, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So I want to go through each of those and say, hey, for my faith, what do I want to specifically do in my faith this year? To grow closer to God, to grow closer in my community at my church. What do I want to do to improve my life there? How am I going to measure that? How am I going to set down and actually measure? Because you can't measure, or you can't improve what you don't measure. So how am I going to measure my improvement in my faith? Is it going to be reading through the Bible this year? That is one of my goals, is reading through the Bible all this year. That's measurable because by the end of the year, I can see, did I actually accomplish it or did I not accomplish it? And then is it achievable? Am I putting a goal in front of me that's an achievable one? This one, it gets a lot of discussion in the business world. I would be curious, chat in. Good morning, Lily. Do you believe in setting achievable goals? Or you take the Grant Cardone methodology and think about doing 10x goals that are not achievable, but you shoot for the stars, you land on the moon. Which type of goals are you setting? I have found I've gone through waves in my life. I used to set non-achievable goals. And as I grew as a leader with my team, I realized setting non-achievable goals, it kills you in 2 areas. One is it kills you in morale. because you start creating a losing culture, because your culture, you start not hitting your goals. And when you don't hit your goals, it's like, it's okay to not win one game, but if you're always not hitting your goals, you start to feel like you're not able to accomplish the plans that you set out. And so slowly it starts to erode. And this is what I've at least found for my team. I'd be curious to see what you guys have found for yours. That when you don't hit goals, it erodes the winning mentality, and people don't get burnt out. They just get tired of losing. So I want to make sure that my goals are achievable. They're hard, but they're achievable, so we can celebrate those wins and celebrate them often to inspire us to keep going, because business is an infinite game. The game of business is to stay in business. So there's not some finish line out there necessarily. So I want to make sure I set achievable goals so I can create a culture of winning and I can celebrate those wins often. The other thing that I found when I didn't set achievable goals, so one is it erodes the morale. And then the other is it's very hard to hold people accountable when you're functioning in a team environment. So if I go into my sales leader and they go, Luke, we can do 1,000 deals this month. And I go, nope, 10x that. I want 10,000 deals. What would it take to get 10,000? Well, when they set the goal at 10,000, they don't have the believability that it will actually happen. So you're pushing them to areas they're struggling to believe, which sometimes that can be a good thing, honestly. But then when they don't achieve it, they're like, see, I didn't think I could do this. And now it's hard to hold them accountable because it was your goal, not their goal. And so I think there is an exercise in setting goals where you should set the goal, and then you should do what I call is like a whiteboarding session to go, okay, if we want to do 1,000 sales this month, what would it take to do 10,000 sales? Like, what would the math have to be? How many dials would have to be made? Or how many leads would have to be generated? How many accounts would have to be onboarded? Then do the math of what would it take in order to 10x this? Because that naturally gets you out of like small thinking into big thinking. And that's where I think the real benefit of setting non-achievable goals is in this idea of thinking bigger than reality. Because the hardest thing is managers manage to what is, leaders manage to what can be. And so you, as you set goals, need to set achievable goals, but based upon what can be, not what is. Because if you fall into the trap of just managing to what is, then you'll end up basically maintaining, and you don't want to maintain because if you're not growing, you're dying. So you want to have specific goals. So I want specific goals for my faith. Hey, what do I want to do? I want it to be measurable. Hey, I want to read through the Bible this year. Hey, I want it to be achievable. Is it achievable that I could do it? Is it hard? Yes. But is it achievable that I could do it? Yes, it's very achievable that I can do it. Then I want it to be relevant. So relevant means, hey, I want to make sure that it's actually relevant to what I'm trying to accomplish in my life, in my business. So for me, I want to do that for my own personal faith and growth. But maybe, relevant to you right now is how to be a better leader. So it might be better if you were trying to look at your faith and you go, hey, where can I focus in my Bible reading on what the Bible says about leadership? And it's very relevant then in the goal that you're setting, measurable because you know what you're trying to accomplish. And that's what, as you think through, okay, it's achievable, it's relevant to what I want to try to accomplish, and then there's a time factor to it. What is the time target that you're trying to hit? For me, it's the year. For you, it could be the quarter, it could be the month. But that's the framework that you want to go through in setting your focus to 2025. Now, here's the thing. If you haven't set your goals for 2025, that's okay. You should have. Right? You're a little behind the eight ball. You should have, but that's okay. There's not some golden rule that says now you have to wait till December 31st of 2025 to set goals for 2026. You could set the goals today. Sit down, write out the 5 F's: faith, family, friendship, fitness, finance, fun. What am I going to accomplish in each of these things? Where do I want my life to be? Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. When 2025 has come to an end, what will my faith look like? When 2025 comes to an end, what will my friendships look like? What will my family look like? What will my finances look like? Begin with the end in mind. Spell out for yourself. You can rarely, Ed Milet says, accomplish what you haven't visited in your mind multiple times. So what do you want your finances to be? Write that out. At the end of 2025, I will have this. I will have this. I will have this. It will help you think through the goal setting and then go, is it specific enough? Is it measurable? Is this achievable? Is it relevant to all my goals and who I want to be as a 6-dimensional person? And then is it time bound? And if you do that, I think you'll have a great 2025 because you'll be focused with intentionality on what you're trying to do. And then here's where people fail or at least this is where I fail, discipline. So once you have the plan, a plan is no good if you don't have the habits to see it through, right? So you can set goals all day long. Goals don't really matter. It's the activities that you do day in and day out that will drive those goals to fruition. So you've got to look at the activities and commit the habits to actually fulfilling those activities, because that's where the rubber meets the road. Everybody has goals. Most people, as we know, I don't know what the exact stat is. I think it's like 86% don't even make it past March with their New Year's resolution. So we've all heard that before. So what's the difference maker? The difference maker is discipline. What is the discipline that you're going to need in order to do these activities every single day to help you hit those goals? Hey, good morning, Alicio. Good morning, Kat. Thank you guys for joining. I hope your new year was fantastic. That's it. What is the 2025 focus for you? That's the big question. Have you set goals in the 6 F's, as I call them? Are you using the SMART goal framework to spell out exactly what you're going to do in those 6 F's, and then commit to the discipline and habits that it will take to make that actually possible for you in your life? Don't be like the 99%, because you'll get what they have. Be like the 1%, so you can be in the 1%, right? Dave Ramsey says a great quote that I love. I repeat it often. He says, live like no one else. So wake up early, do what you say you're going to do, make your dials, make sure you take care of your clients, show up for them, do what others won't do, right? Live like no one else. So one day you can live like no one else. You can have the cars, the vacations, you can send your kids to the schools you want, you can help impact-wise your family and others in your community, the people at your church, more than others can, because you lived like no one else. So one day you can live like no one else. And Dave often says, live and give like no one else. So let's make it an incredible 2025. It is January 6th. It's the first week of the year. Let me know in the comments if you watch this. I opened up the video saying, what do you want to learn about? Because I want to make sure this is relevant and applicable to all of you. So if it's email marketing, digital, social, print, sales, mindset, whatever it is, chat that in. Would love to answer your questions, but appreciate you guys. Thank you for letting me be a part of this community, and looking forward to a great 2025. Get out there and win for yourself, for your clients, for your family. Let's make it happen. Appreciate it.